Hey guys, let's jump in and see what you don't see coming for this weekend. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, you can find all of the information in the description box below. Okay, guys, let's see what the weekend has in store for us. Let's jump in. Okay, I have a few things coming out here. I have concern, expectation, the distant future, and the pathway. Okay, so there is some kind of concern that is bothering you a little bit here. Okay, so there's something that you might be expecting that should be coming in, or something that you're expecting about the future, or perhaps there even is a little bit of a concern where you might be a little bit, worrying about what's to come in the future here. Okay, so there might be some thoughts that you're having this weekend that might be consuming you about where am I going? What am I doing? What should I do? Should I take a road trip? Maybe you're feeling a little bit stuck and stagnant this weekend and you're just wanting to get out of the house, okay? Maybe things are getting back to normal after the summer is winding down and you're just kind of feeling that ache to just get outside, right? There might be just some kind of thing where, you're concerned that, where are things going to play out here for me after this? Now that the summer's ended and all the fun is done, what am I going to be doing? Okay, so there might be just a little bit of concern here. All right. I have practiced freedom, release the weight of judgment. Okay, again, so instead of, filling this weekend with a little bit of concern about the future and what is to come and what you're expecting to come in or that hasn't come in, or maybe you're just worried about, how are things going to happen? Maybe you've had a lot of stuff take place, over the recent past here. And now all you can do is have your thoughts kind of consumed with, well, what is going to happen here in the future? And that's all you can think about. You might even be a recent graduate who is saying, okay, well, now what? The summer's over. So what's to come here? Do I go to college? Do I start a job? What do I do? Do I get an apartment? Like, what am I supposed to do here? So you might be just really consumed with things to come in the future. This is also a time where you're transitioning out of the summer and going into starting school again for the kids and or yourself. And so this might be a time where you're just kind of like, okay, now I'm just, concerned with matters of responsibility and, what I need to do here. Okay. So maybe your thoughts are more focused on the future than they are in the present moment of the weekend. Okay. I would say the protector. I respect people's boundaries and require the same from them. Okay, so you might be in a little bit again of that transitionary period where some kind of changes have been taking place and are beginning to take place here in the future. And so you might be in this just position of transition during the weekend here. So we don't see coming is that in regards to, some things that are going to play out in the future in regards to these changes, maybe they're consuming your head in the way of just thinking of like, how is this going to play out? I respect and I'm giving people time and space in regards to my life, and they're giving me time and space. But what does that even mean? And it's making you feel a little bit uncomfortable. So this may be finding where you're finding that you're getting a little bit, concerned about what's going to happen. Okay. So what I'm feeling here energetically is just a little bit of an over anxious kind of feeling in regards to worry about the future here this weekend. Okay. So here, this comes out as meditation and escapism. Okay. This doesn't surprise me that this is coming out for the weekend here because it looks like you're a bit consumed with worries of what the future will hold. Okay. So, the advice here is to really detach from whatever situation is you're experiencing right now. I understand that, it's reasonable to be, concerned about the future. It's reasonable to be worried about where things are going, how they're going to play out. Is everything going to be okay? What am I going to do? All these things. But you see how even me just saying that felt like a little anxiety ridden? Okay, so that's what I'm feeling right now. So this is a feeling that it seems like you guys might be in this weekend. And so you're not really even enjoying the weekend because it seems like you're very consumed with some kind of situation that you've been involved in the recent past, or you're consumed with what's to come here in the future and how this is going to play out. And you're trying to be respectful of other people's time and space and energy, but it's creating a little bit of like, in you that is just kind of feeling a little bit chaotic and unsettled at this time. So you need to get detached a little bit from the situation, okay? Detach yourself from the outcomes, detach yourself from the future, detach yourself from whatever's going on for a little bit, and take this time to just kind of go within a little bit and calm down a little bit. Maybe just do something that feels a little bit relaxing that will get your mind off of things for some time. If that means you need to go for a drive or a walk or just get out of the house or just go to the movies or just do something fun to get your mind off of things, then go do it. Even if you just need to kind of binge watch some movies of, favorite shows or whatever that you need to catch up on over the weekend. Maybe you need to unplug from all your social media, turn off your phone, and just really be in the present moment of just kind of losing yourself into something that is not factual or worrying about what needs to get done or any to-dos at this time. Okay. So what this is asking you to do this weekend is just take time to relax. Take time to take your mind off of things, whatever you need to do that. And that way your mind can settle a little bit, because once things kind of settle in your mind, once you're able to be, doing something else that you'll find more relaxing, your mind is going to stop rattling around in its cage, and it's going to calm down a little bit, and you're going to be able to get a sense of clarity on things in your life that have been really confusing or really, thought provoking or anxiety riddled. So you need to get to a place though of calmness in order to get the mind to settle down too. Otherwise, it's just going bonkers in your head there, and no wonder you're feeling this anxiety and you're worrying about the future and you've got all these concerns and stuff. And so it's just saying, here that, maybe you don't need to be so concerned with what's happening here, especially what's happening outside of you, and especially what's happening in the future, because we can't even change the future. Okay. We can't change the past, and we cannot change the future. And we definitely can't help what's going to come, even if it's meant to come. Okay. We think we have control. We want to be in control of what's happening here. But the reality is we have no control at all. We only have control over us and how we react and respond to those changes, to those situations, to those what ifs in the future. Okay. We need to be in the present in order to be able to adequately move around those challenges and obstacles when they present themselves to us. You need to be in a calm, space where you have a clear head and a clear mind and a clear heart, and you're feeling very grounded in order to be able to not only make clear and wise decisions for yourself, but you're also going to be able to respond to any situations outside of yourself that could pose some concern and worry in a very grounded and clear way in that moment. You're going to be able to respond like that instead of responding, spontaneously, which isn't going to likely do you or anyone or anything else any good if you're coming from that sort of place. It's just going to create more chaos. Okay. So get very present this weekend so that you don't need to get into a state of worry, especially when you likely have a busy week ahead of you to continue on into after the weekend. It's not going to do you any good, and it's not going to solve the problems, and it's not going to just make anything perfect or fix anything at this time just by over concerning yourself with it. Let's dive deeper into this so that I can get a little more information about what might be taking place here. Okay, maybe I can find some helpful information and some advice in regards to this that might prove beneficial to you. Let's take a look at the overall energy of the weekend. Okay, I have a couple coming out. I have the world and the lovers. Okay, so no wonder you're a little bit consumed with, thoughts here and, what's the future going to look like and, what's going to happen from here. It looks like very significant relationships and choices had to be made in the recent past or are being made, or maybe this is why you have a level of concern about the future and where it's going, and needing to have a respect about your boundaries and other people's boundaries at this time while things are a little bit tense. Okay, so there could be a couple of different timelines playing out here for every different person. Okay, so just bear with me as I kind of jump into this. But this is either, an overall energy of saying that you've already made the significant decision to remove yourself from a very significant relationship in your life, and it has already ended, and now you're beginning to, worry and think about the future and how things are going to turn out. Either how they're going to wrap up and you're going to take care of these loose ends with this particular person in a way that is honorable and respectful to you both and has your best interests at heart, so you can both move forward positively from this situation or from people, right? Or this could be indicative of the fact that you're deep in this moment right now where you're contemplating ending a relationship in your life of some kind or relationships, okay? So this doesn't surprise me. We have a lot of cycles that are closing out and wrapping up right now. And what they're asking of us is to get really aligned with people and situations and things in all areas of our lives that are aligned with our highest and greatest good. So if there are things that are no longer aligning with us, that are even making us question them to begin with, they're likely no longer good for you anymore. They're no longer in alignment with what you are and where you're going. And there's higher level things that are waiting for you, okay? But they cannot come in and begin to coalesce in your reality until you kind of like clean out the closet a little bit, okay? You need to clean up some of these situations and relationships and jobs and experiences that you're having that need to be released to make room for the new, okay? So whatever you find yourself in situation-wise, I can tell why you're very consumed with this, okay? And you're probably, just really seeking answers inside, okay? But there's no need to get too chaotic in this. Don't get yourself too wrapped up and over, emotional or over thought provoked in this so that you can gain some clarity on the situation and know what to do from here, okay? Let's get a look at the recent past so I can get a little bit of history in regards to how we got here. In the recent past, I have the Seven of Pentacles. Again, this is a card of that contemplation. This is a card of kind of, culling through your life and your environment and real things in your life and saying, what's serving me, what isn't, what is, giving back to me and what isn't, what, seeds are bearing fruit and, growing and prospering that I want to take into the future with me and what is not. This is basically weeding out your garden, okay? This is weeding things out of your garden that are, turning toxic and therefore infiltrating all of the other things in the garden that are, producing fruit, okay? And needing to decide which things are weeds and which things are fruit. And this is what you're kind of doing here in the recent past. You've had to go through a period of really taking stock and evaluation of people and situations in your life that are no longer serving you, what feels good and what doesn't, who feels good, what doesn't, okay? Let's take a look at the present energy. Okay, the present energy, I have the hanged man and I have the moon. Okay, so again, this doesn't surprise me with the energies that are coming out right now, especially when there's very significant decisions that have either been made or you're right in the middle of needing to make. And you kind of know that this is calling to you because you know something needs to change. You're clearly, feeling some type of way of anxiety and stress in regards to this situation, and you know that something needs to change. Okay, so there needs to be a shift in your perspective in order to see clearly. So, like I said, when the heart and the mind and the emotions are involved in situations like this, especially when it's close to home and it's matters of the heart, we can tend to get a little bit lost. Things can become very unclear, very confusing, which is also likely why you might be tuning into tarot readings in order to find some clarity and seek validation in regards to your situation so that you can then get guidance on which way to go because they're very, very confusing. When we love people, a lot of things can get very, very confusing very fast. So I can see why you're in this particular energy here. But like I said, because of the moon, there's some fears being evoked about the unknown, and you're being overly concerned about what the future is going to hold for you if you either decide to make this change and end this relationship or situation, whatever it is, and what your future is going to look like without this particular person or people or job, and you're a little bit worried about that because you're buying into a few of the fears of the unknown here. Okay, so you need to get really grounded. This is why that meditation card came out, because it's trying to say, hey, I need to detach myself from this situation and these people enough, or this person enough, that I can gain a sense of groundedness and clarity within myself, within my own heart, within my own intuition, so that I can then shift my perspective and see things clearly for what they are. Okay. And the best way to do this again is to not only get into a state where you unplug and detach and go into a state where you can kind of calm the mind and calm the emotions a little bit to gain that clarity. But this is also saying that, an easy way to kind of navigate this is go person by person, situation by situation, one at a time. And it's pretty simple. Does this make me feel good or does this not? Am I like, heck yeah? Or am I like, maybe or no? Okay, this is a good way to navigate that in a way that feels good to you. So if you're thinking about, okay, well, what if I have this particular person in my life for the next, 2 years, 2 more years? What is that going to feel like? Does that make you feel good where you're like, yes, oh my God, I can't wait to see what the next 2 years has? Or are you kind of like, 2 years? like, That sounds like 2 years underwater. You get what I'm saying here, okay? So this is a really good, easy way to kind of like when things are very confusing, very emotionally, trodden and things are just kind of ramped up a little bit. This is a really easy way to kind of go inside and either it's a soul yes or it's a soul no. And this is how you can kind of weed your garden and find your way out of it. You can't be buying into the fears of the unknown. There's always unknown when there comes times of transition and change. But what it is moving through those fears regardless, because if your heart and your soul already knows what's right for you, the right decision for you, it's just a matter of moving through those fears anyway. Okay. Once you get to the other side, you're going to be so relieved and so glad that you did. Let's take a look at the near future here. Maybe this will help you, see what's coming in the near future for you and maybe feel a little bit better about some of the hard decisions that you're making or have already made. Okay, I have a few coming out here. Okay, I have the Hermit, I have the Magician, and I have the Queen of Wands coming here in the near future. So this is just indicating that once you move beyond these fears, once you kind of get over this fear of the unknown, fear of the future, whatever it is that's kind of keeping you stuck and in this little bit of a, loop of feeling a little bit, scared, unsure, fearing the future, this is saying that you have everything that you need in order to create an entirely new experience. You just need to be able to kind of tap into your inner intuition, your own inner wisdom, because you have all of the answers within you already. This is something that I'm not telling you that's new. You likely already know exactly what you need to do, but you might be second guessing it, which is normal to, be when we're making very significant choices and changes in our lives. It can be very, hard to wonder if we're doing the right thing or not because we're afraid to lose that thing completely forever. Even though we kind of know it needs to change, we need to move on from that situation or we need to move on from that relationship and that person. It still evokes a lot of fear in us, okay, about being without that because we don't really know what the unknown holds. Okay. And so this is telling me that you have everything you need inside of you. If you tap inside, you're going to have that answer. And you just need to get into a state where you can move beyond those fears and gain that sense of confidence in order to go into the new and know that you have everything you need within you, all the answers inside of you already, and you have all of the tools you need in order to confidently move forward and create a new life and new experience after this situation is wrapped up. Okay. So either you're going to have the confidence to make the decision to, remove yourself from these situations and leave them behind, or this is a situation you already left. And now you're going to be able to have a sense of confidence and comfort after the dust settles that you can move forward and you're going to be confident in your ability to do just that. Let's take a look at some advice for you. Okay, the advice I have for you is going to be the Four of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Nine of Cups coming out here. Okay, so the advice is just saying, hey, take time to relax, relax the mind, relax the body, get into a state where things can become more clear, where you can then begin to focus on the changes that need to be made. With the Wheel of Fortune here, it's telling me that you already know change is here. You already know change needs to happen. Either you've already made this significant change and you're needing to, you already know that this change needed to happen and take place in order for you to move forward into something better and into something new that's more in alignment with you and your highest good. But this is saying, if not, then you need to get focused on that. You need to get focused on more of what you wish to create, more of what is fulfilling to you, and move toward that because either this change needed to happen and you need to get in alignment with that understanding and knowing that you already have, or that you know that this change needs to happen and you need to get into alignment with that and know that the future is positive. This is what's happening for your highest and greatest good. Okay. It's a good indication of the fact that you're leveling up, you're doing the work, and now you're just no longer in alignment with things that are not at the same vibrational level as you. Okay. So take this as an opportunity versus a loss. Okay. Let's take a look at what's hidden. Maybe there's something hidden here that you're not seeing that might prove helpful for you. Okay, what's hidden here is the Nine of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, again, this is, a need to get very grounded. This is a need to kind of turn inward toward yourself, to stop looking at all of what's going on outside of you. Stop looking at the storm happening outside the window and really focus on inside the house, okay? Basically, you need to get to a place where you're grounded and nurturing yourself and your own needs and desires, okay? Because this is saying that you're very ungrounded right now, and you might be having a lot of, sleepless nights. You might just be constantly in a state of worry and anxiety, and this isn't helping the situation at all, okay? You already know what needs to be done or needed to be done, and now you need to focus on yourself. These external situations are no longer your problem to deal with. You are responsible for yourself and keeping yourself safe, grounded, and happy, and nurtured, and taken care of. So if you can get to a state where you can focus on yourself, focus on your needs, focus on tending to your own emotions and stress, and focus on getting yourself grounded, you're going to feel a lot better. Stop focusing on anything outside of yourself, especially what the future has to hold. No one has the answers, and even then when we do, it doesn't mean it's all going to play out that way. There's always beautiful surprises of a little bit of chaos, a little bit of fun mixed in. Okay, so just be, willing to get on the ride and just ride it. Okay, let's take a look at what you don't see coming in the coming weeks. See, what might be playing out here, okay, in the coming week. Here, I have several coming out here, okay? I have the devil, I have the sun, I have the seven of cups, and I have the Two of Pentacles coming out here, okay? So what you don't see coming in the coming weeks is that you're going to move beyond this illusion, okay? Whatever it is that you're feeling tied and bound to that's keeping you in a state of confusion, this is a lot of emotional confusion. So when we're in a state of a lot of, chaos and stress and things that are, coming into play, and we're really having to make significant change and decisions in our life, we can get very, very confused and buy into a state of illusion. Again, with that moon card here, this doesn't surprise me. It's very emotionally stressful for you right now. But in the coming weeks, you're going to be able to detach yourself from a very toxic situation, and you're going to be able to get some clarity on it, and you're going to be able to get a sense of balance and courage and see very clearly this situation for what it was and why you made the decisions that you made and why you are now where you're at, and you're going to feel really good about it. Okay, it's just a matter of getting a sense of that balance again. Okay, and I think you're going to be able to do that so long as you take the advice that's being given in this reading right now of getting very grounded, focus on yourself, nurture yourself, and begin to get a sense of clarity of what needs to be done, why it needed to happen, and focus on where you're going, because you already know that this change needed to take place. On the bottom of the deck, I have the Two of Cups. Again, this is just getting, confirmation that this has to do with matters of the heart, matters of a relationship here. And clearly this relationship has turned toxic in some way, shape, or form. With the devil coming out here and what you don't see in the coming weeks, it tells me that there was some kind of, either trauma bond here, some kind of, attachment that you had, some kind of, thing that you had going on here that has turned toxic in this significant relationship in your life. And again, this can have to do with anything. This can be a romantic relationship. This can have to do with, a family, a parent, a child, friends, anything at all. Okay, so whatever this is applicable to, apply it to your situation and just leave, what doesn't resonate with you. So hopefully that what does resonate with you, you can find helpful and useful for your situation and find some answers here. But I think things will begin to clear up. You'll begin to calm down, and you'll be able to gain some more clarity as the weekend goes on, if you just kind of shift your, perspective, shift what you're focusing on, and get grounded and begin to turn it inside toward you. Okay, stop thinking about all the what ifs, because it's not going to help you. So I hope that you found this reading to be helpful. I hope you're having a magnificent weekend. And if you're not having one already, I hope after this reading, you can get grounded and begin to feel some relief at the very least. So until I see you again, take care.